Live with radical humility. This is the 28th verse. Know the strength of a man, but keep a woman's care. Be a valley under heaven. If you do, the constant virtue will not fade away. One will become like a child again. Know the white, keep to the black, and be the pattern of the world. To be the pattern of the world is to move constantly in a path of virtue without erring a single step and to return again to the infinite. One who understands splendor while holding to humility acts in accord with eternal power. To be the fountain of the world is to live the abundant life of virtue. When the unformed is formed into objects, its original qualities are lost. If you preserve your original qualities, you can govern anything. Truly, the best governor governs least.
Beautiful. What's good, family? This is another episode of Recycle Mantras, Tea Talk, and I have the honor of interviewing and getting to know this good brother beside me. And he goes by Roku. He's a Caribbean human being first and foremost, but he is an artist. And I've grown fond of him over the last few months that I've been back in Los Angeles. The tea is brewing. So we're going to let that stew a little bit. And that's also why I like to wait.
For sure. Appreciate you. It's an honor to have this tea with you, and an honor to be here. So
I'm glad you made it, bro.
Appreciate you doing this. Appreciate your energy, the vibe. Everything is so lit. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what stuck out to you in that chapter that you just read?
I think it also kind of like had a message of just being still, aware of what you already possess, being able to channel it, and then also being able to know when to put it on reserve. That's kind of like my interpretation of it for the most part, as well as being able to display it in a graceful way.
Beautiful. Have you ever had a tea ceremony before?
I can't say I have. First for everything. Precisely.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So I'm very intrigued by you, bro. And I don't just say that because I consider you a bro at this point. Yeah. But I really usually only bring people on to sit with them to converse over tea. First and foremost, because I find tea to be a very potent time in our lives as creatives. And I see how much you have going on in your reality and how much you juggle as an artist. And also us being in Los Angeles with survival and working all of these things. Definitely. I wanted to, in a sense, honor you in this space, give you, in a sense, a platform to reach a different crowd and to just also get to know you better in a very grounding space where there's no mobile devices, there's no, any distractions from outside of the present moment. And this tea that we're going to honor and that we're going to serve is a way for us to simply be here, be now, and to just converse over what is to come, who you are, and what our vibes, tribe, energy looks like in the next few seasons, pretty much.
Sure,
so where are you from? Exactly.
I'm from St. Thomas, the east side of St. Thomas of the 4 United States Virgin Islands.
Never
4
been.
very tiny islands east of Puerto Rico.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Okay. So you speak a different language?
If you want to call it that, we mostly speak just broken English, and that's pretty much just how it's, probably going to be received from the outside. But simply put, it's just English, for the most part. The Virgin Islands itself is a melting pot, just like how it's like pretty much an extension of the United States because we're the USVI. So we have people from the French islands like the Dominicas and the Haiti of the world, Creole as well, and then we have a lot of Puerto Ricans, heavy Dominican Republic community there in the Virgin Islands as well. So you kind of see that like intertwined throughout the entire like population.
Beautiful. Yeah. So what are some things that really stuck out in your culture that is not really here in America, especially Los Angeles?
I would say for the most part, I think the community aspect, as far as like how it's still connected like a web, for the good and the bad, because there's good and bad of it, you know. Excuse me, I never really understood how to and I know that there's moments where you have to kind of isolate and think of self, but the radical version of that I never really experienced it until I was to come to like a LA. Like I think that would be like a drastic change for me as a culture, you know, and it was like a culture shock for sure. So that stuck out to me, but it didn't, you know, discourage me. It was just a moment for me to pause and learn, because I very early on I understood the importance of not judging but seeking to understand different cultures.
Absolutely.
And while still being able to introduce what I feel would be of value to who's unfamiliar to where I come from and how we do things. And I feel like that's been something I've been very prideful of holding on to, even being so far away from home, for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, do you have a big family? Do you come from
Gigantic family, and even more so of an extended family. And even so, like from my mom's side to my dad's side, and even as it gets extended, everybody still commingle and crossover. So definitely, I'm used to, and I want a big family myself. I want to keep that going.
Where?
Very legacy minded for sure.
How many children?
You want me to tell you the
We
truth,
jump
or want me to
straight
tell you
there.
the American answer?
Yo, truth. We only want your truth.
I want like 6 or 7 children.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I cool with. I think my minimum is 4.
That's the standard for Americans too.
Okay, boom. Let's go.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, fire. Beautiful. So,
Yeah.
you have siblings, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, and then are you the only one who left home?
I'm the one that's farthest away from home. My older brother, spent most of his time in Florida with his mom, and then when it was time to move from the Virgin Islands, with my mom and my stepdad, they moved before my older sister and I stayed to finish high school, because we were kind of stubborn in that sense. We wanted to finish school with who we started off with. So that would probably been one of the first things that I have a light regret. I know a lot of people say no regrets.
Leaving?
Yeah, but I should have left with my mom, because she left with my 3 younger brothers and my stepdad, and I kind of held on and stayed with my grandma and my dad for the last couple of years. But you know, after that, my younger sister on my dad's side, she followed and went to UCF. So I kind of like was able to really like show that to my sister, my siblings on the other side. Like, you go leave the island. It's
Right.
okay. You could step out for a moment. And then I took it a step further by moving from Florida all the way to California.
Okay, so you actually moved to Florida first when you came to America.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then so with all of the travels and also understanding that in these uncomfortable situations, you've actually been kind of leading as an example. And I know you are into music.
Yeah.
Is that like your biggest offering to them, and when you lead by example, and if not, what would it be?
That's important for me. I feel like I've seen the preachy approach, and I've seen, you know, how it's
Facts, I
not
can
mostly
vouch for that.
receptive.
Yeah.
You know, so I think like just doing it first. You know, even if I stand I take the slings and arrows and go through the painful parts of it first. I think it's something like very profound and powerful to show that I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I survived. You know what I mean? And I actually came back like a phoenix. I came back
Gotcha.
stronger. So I always wanted to do first, and then kind of look back and kind of like see, it's gonna be a little easier for you, because I could tell you a few steps you could
You're
skip.
laying those bricks for them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, and I do that with my immediate family, and you know, my siblings, as well as some of the people I consider my soul family as well, including some that I have out here like you.
Okay,
Appreciate
beautiful. Absolutely. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Chamomile.
Yeah, it's very light.
You could always appreciate some chamomile. I almost choked my whole face off. I like it. Go.
All right, man. So I know we got straight into it. We getting emotional a little super early.
I didn't expect it to, but I always,
Which is cool, and it's always supposed to be raw.
Yeah.
But who are you? Like, what are you in this moment? Past, present, future. What's going on in your world?
I could be completely honest. The word "who are you," or like when I have to ask "who am I still get the spooks from it. Just because I'm the immediate answer to the question, as far as technicalities, is a generous soul in all mediums.
I love that.
From my art to myself, my time, my presence, my, even on the financial side, I'm a generous soul that likes to overexert because it has a weird way of feeling therapeutic. But on the flip side, I'm also a wandering soul that's still discovering self with grace and excitement. Recently, I've been excited about continuing to learn who I am. So I feel like that's a ever-changing. It will always have an ever-changing answer.
Absolutely.
Positively.
What are some examples of that journey?
From as long as I know, like I know the first forms of generosity that I was able to eagerly offer was just a listening ear. I think a lot of people in this world just, they're not necessarily dead inside, but a lot of people lose faith. A lot of people are going through stuff. I feel like they just don't feel heard, or they don't feel like anybody wants to actually listen.
Yeah, people are just clogged.
Yeah, clogged,
really clogged,
intent, attentively. And when I was first able to witness the relief someone got from actually being heard, that was my first way of being like, oh, I want to do this more.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one question and let you just go.
Fire.
You just go. And like not only just go and then not have nothing to feedback, but sometimes I want to be able to collect what you said to like kind of like regurgitate it back, like show you like, yo, you either like, this is how beautiful you are, or you bugging. You don't talk about yourself this way, or you just solved the problem that you thought that you had. Right. You know what I mean? But just by listening, that's something that I started doing before I even hit 18 years old.
And that wasn't like taught to you by your parents?
No, and I think maybe with all love and credit to both my parents, especially my hardworking mom, I think they didn't have time to listen. Or understand the beauty of just sitting down, being present and listening.
The luxury.
So, the luxury too. It is a luxury too. Yeah. And it's like, when it may have come from like me repurposing what could have been like a dark place or emptiness or void that I felt, and wanted to see how I could alleviate that from other individuals. I didn't feel heard for a long time.
So do you think this plays a role in what made you listen more?
Yeah. Because when I started to feel heard and I felt how healing it was, I was just like, bro, why more people ain't doing this?
People should also feel this. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's carried over into decades later. Like, I still do it, and I probably do it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how we met, bro. Like when I met you, it was actually a unique connection anyways, the way that you reached out. And I get people's like reaching out often of interest, especially with us being in the same like fields of art. And I just seen how consistent you were, and also how much space you held. And so when we met in person, I was anxious, you know what I'm saying? Like traveling and being away from like being in my own solitude. Especially being in LA, you meet so many people that's just like, this is who I am. This is what I do.
Yeah.
What do you have to show? Like, how can you beat that or how can you match that? And honestly, bro, you was just like, bro, no, let's chat. You know what I'm saying? Your manager's texting you and you're just like, I'll get to that later. And I really appreciated that about you. So I really wanted to take the time to honor that for sure. But most and foremost is that you are the founder of this community in this collective called Artsy.
Yes.
And can you dive in a little bit more about that? Because I know it is a collective of musicians and different talents, and I know what it's like to be a director of people. How is that for you, especially as a listener?
So I did it before once, right? Actually twice. I had a very light first attempt, and then my second attempt was in Florida with who I still consider family. The first collective I ever started was under the name Psych Clan, and it was already into like the psychology of it. And then I liked the loudness of the word clan. And that was me again, just channeling all of the generosity, the generosity. And when I had to leave Florida, we weren't able to continue with the amount of momentum, and with a full body. Not everybody ready to just drive across the country, so we had to kind of let that go dormant. But I knew that once I get back into something that has to deal with engaging the community or something that's beyond just the music, I wanted to make sure that it was a little bit more slow cooked, and it had a structure that I did lose myself multiple times. That's why I say sometimes I would be a generous soul to a flaw where I would overexert myself.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, once it's empty and there's a void, I kind of forget my identity because I was just kind of pouring into everybody. So Artsy, when I came up with Artsy, I just wanted a conceptual, creative lifestyle brand that was based off of my own personal experiences. From the when we did our first collection with the Canary and the Crow, it's not always personal experiences, it's my personal imagination. And I love the idea of yin and yang. And when I did the Canary and the Crow, it was a similar story of, the crow being, the uglier type of bird, or what's perceived as an uglier bird, but is highly intelligent and free, versus a canary, which stays in a cage, it sings so beautifully, and it's admired, but it's not free, but it's in a box. And those two birds want to be each other, or this shows like the duality of life. And then I also wanted it to encapsulate some of the most important things I think our community should always withhold, which is innovation, community, and collaboration. And I can't draw, you know what I mean? But I had the idea in my head, and for everything that I did following that, I wanted it to kind of make sure that no matter what we do at event, we check off those boxes. It's just, is that innovative touch? Is that community touch? And is there enough collaboration that makes this feel fulfilling? I sent out the idea to a gentleman that was doing my cover arts in Italy, and I just told the story of the Canary and the Crow, and I said, I want your interpretation. Go.
Yeah.
He did an illustration of it, I put it on a shot, and that was the first collection of, the arts, the apparel side of Artsy. And then, fast forward to now, we've done a few installments of our second event concept, the Artsy Connect, and just kind of seeing it come into play with tons of, assistance, mostly from like Amy, like my manager.
Shout out to Amy.
Yeah, you could also, and I sometimes will kind of have to step outside of myself and be like, this stuff really, really happening, and it's fulfilling.
It's real.
It's real. It's
dope. Real.
Yeah.
So how is it being all the way from the Caribbeans in LA, especially in downtown Los Angeles, doing big shit, away from home, putting on platforms and giving people that have been born here opportunities?
First, it being just like wild to even look back at myself 5 years ago, 6 years ago, to think I'm doing it is just insane to even digest. But on the other side, it's terrifying.
Which keeps us alive.
Yes, I love the thrill, and I love the little bit of spark that it gives me. But I know what happens. I know this is gonna get there eventually. But what happens to people of influence that know how to kind of what's the word, like think through, like to really like go through layers, when it comes to like the human psyche. And I feel it early on.
Talking about like fourth, fifth dimensions.
Yeah, and just like like, sometimes, like, even when I speak, I don't 100%. I know that it's a spirit that's channeling through me, but sometimes I'd be kind of shocked what leaves my tongue.
I mean, that's definitely a gift, bro.
Yeah.
The gift of tongues. I feel like was you singing in the church as a kid?
Early in church.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in school too.
Fire.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just want to make sure, like, if I become one of crazy influence, I want to make sure that I do the right thing.
That's the biggest thing. It's like, if you're an influencer, what are you influencing?
Yeah.
Because it's like real fucking tough out here, bro. Like,
Yeah.
we can be all, calm and collective and grounded with our heads on our shoulders, which is a blessing. But it gets spooky out here, dog. That's actually why I ran away from America for some time. But it's beautiful because now that we're back, now that I'm back, there's people like me here. You know what I'm saying? And which was the biggest fear of, that's why I don't go out. And I was like, there's no actual genuine beings, creative, talented, humble, genuine people around that I know. And then I was calling that in a sense, and it showed up, you know what I'm saying? And you showed up, and then several other people started to show up.
Yeah.
So with kind of like an off the wall question, are you finding time, because you mentioned like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's definitely inevitable. You're very broad. You do more than just one thing, and when it comes to music, your palette is just like outer worldly, right?
Yeah.
If I could express it that way.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's safe to say, like, are you ever considering going like public, or are you gonna stay indie? Are you gonna sign, or are you gonna stay indie?
I guess we will.
What do you call it?
Stay tuned to see what finds out.
Say to be continued on that one.
Maybe a hybrid of both. Like a partnership.
So that means you got to bring some shit to the table. Make these guys really want to work with you.
Yeah, I'm be like, yo, I have a whole engaged artsy community.
Yeah.
As you express interest in me, what can you do for this community? That's how the conversation would sound.
What can you do?
What can you do? And it's not only because, I feel indebted. I feel like those people poured into my pot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to keep paying it forward and to circulate it properly is just like, I come out here, and one thing that was just a non-negotiable is just like selling my soul or compromising any of my values. And with keeping firm on that stance, and I still starting to gain so much traction and meet so many dope people that actually believe in that's something that started in my head. The gratitude overflows. I'm so grateful, and like the least I could do is to make sure I represent those people that just believe.
Big facts.
I don't need a payout. I already feel full.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Big checks.
Big checks. The checks gotta be phenomenal. I'm still trying to see.
What's bracking?
What's bracking? We in here.
So what's to come, big dog?
Man, we about to be this was supposed to be an announcement, but it can come out by then. We about to have a crazy February. I ain't my lover boy phase though.
Be careful. Hide your girl, hide your wife.
He said it.
He said it.
I'm excited about what's to come, but I'm about to go crazy for sure with the music. Obviously, that's
put on the gas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fire, bro.
But I'm about to be dropping a series of, let's say, songs for now, but it's actually more than just songs. And we're keeping the artsy events going. There might be a tour possibly in a near enough future.
Oh, fire.
And yeah, man, as other creative ventures, we have Rap the Runway that's supposed to be on February 1st. I'm collaborating with the Trap Designer, one of my favorite.
Shout out to him.
No, my favorite fashion designer that I know personally. Crazy event that we're about to do.
Dope.
Yeah, man, and just a lot of wild, random things. Me and Amy planning something for. I'm more on the visual side, because she's also a director. And yeah, a lot of stuff to come.
Fuck yeah, bro. So what are some, just to shift it up a little bit, what are some of the trials and tribulations that you're running into?
Time, bro.
Oh,
Time.
man.
Time is such a bitch because it's like I like I said earlier, like I appreciate anybody that even interested in working with me. You know what I mean? And like even see me of
Value.
in that light of that value. But it's like I still slinging drinks. You know what I mean? I love and I love that I could put some mixology into it so that way when I open up my own restaurant.
Facts, which he is a good ass chef. Brought me some. Go ahead and tell him.
Arroz con pollo o pilau. So I made him, some Saint Tomian
I don't know how
pilau.
to say it.
And it's just pretty much like you make you mix all of the chicken and the rice and all of the good stuff together, and it cooks up in one pot, and it makes like this nice, beautiful,
Gumbo.
one pot serve meal. Yeah. So pilau is like that's my go-to dish. That's like my, that's another one of my love languages is to cook for my people.
As is mine.
Yeah. So
as is mine.
that was easy to do for us.
That shit was delicious, man.
I'm glad you enjoyed. But yeah, man, so it's like just try and figure out how to just figure out even like to look at my catalog, right? And see what do I need to release next? What makes the most sense? Who do I want to touch? I'm from the Caribbean.
Who do you want to touch?
The world. But I have to break
There's
it down
a lot
in
of those.
categories.
Because there's a. All right, so where was we at?
Yeah, so I mean, I think
Who is the world to you? Because it's a lot of those.
the world, I think because I have understandings of multiple different cultures, different ideologies, regions, obviously coming from Florida to LA, that's enough about drastic thing, but then from the Caribbean, and then even being told that sometimes I sound like a Burna Boy. I don't think I sound like him at all, but I know the
I don't think so
category that
either.
people try to like put me in. People love to put you in a box when they don't understand, but like when I visit Europe, I know it's gonna have. I will want to connect. I love connecting.
And
Hence the
European love American artists, even though you're not American.
facts. So like I think that's the challenge. The blessing and the curse is the fact that I'm one of those like watch me do it type thing,
Facts.
and it's like my catalog reflects that now. So I have R&B records. I have stuff that you'll hear in an underground club in the UK, and I haven't even been there. I have Caribbean records that's like mad vulgar and unnecessary for a dancehall. I have a few ballads. I have a rock song, including the one that's out that Halo Kitsch featured me on, Daddy's Girl, that is crazy. Another spike of just a ton of engagement. So I'm glad that people still eating up Daddy's Girl. Shout out to Halo Kitsch for having me on that song.
Big
and
shout out
trusting
to
me.
her. I witnessed her performance. She's a fucking rock
Oh,
star, for real.
I'm obsessed, and I love like when we link and we have our sessions, you can see the love like kind of just going back and forth, and she speaks highly of me, which I do of all my friends too, and it's a testament to where we are right now.
Yeah.
In other rooms.
It's a new shift, bro. Like, niggas ain't hating no more. It's like,
They-
real recognize real has always been a thing. Less is more has always been a thing.
Yeah.
But more watering was necessary.
Yeah, nurturing all of the amazing friendships, And if they hate it, I don't even know. I ain't paying it no mind. I don't feed into that. You know what I mean? If I catch hate or peep hate, I feel them. I kind of throw back love at them.
What is your inspiration? What inspires you?
My mom is one of my bigger inspirations for sure. Just the world. It sounds a little bit general, but when I say it, I feel like I'm an optimist naturally, and I feel like we could I still see beauty in the future, in all aspects, just inside of people and outside. I understand that AI is here to stay.
It's not going nowhere.
It's not going anywhere. So it's just about who's managing it, and how we're able to integrate it into human life with the right amount of integrity.
Are you integrating it into your business?
Learning first about how many different ways I could engage AI. First, obviously, because we're in the creative space, visually it's definitely helped. The only place I will not ever engage it is writing.
Big facts.
You know, I think
Cheers to that.
Cheers, you know, for
Salud.
real. Salud. But I know that, you know, it was developed by humans. So, and humans are the most beautiful species to bless the earth.
I agree. Took me a while to realize that.
Yeah.
I forgot, actually, but then I remember.
It's so easy to forget because there's some very troubled souls. But humans are beautiful first before they're corrupted.
Before.
Even
after, bro, it's just a reminder of like, even self. Like, niggas get lost.
Yeah.
Get caught up in the sauce. We see this shit happen every day with friends and old friends here in LA. But it's just a friendly reminder, you know what I'm saying? Or like you said, a listening ear for somebody to just be like,
I'm struck, I'm done. I'm down bad, or I'm lost, and it's, or I have no. Some people don't see the future as beautiful. Some people are just lost all faith in humanity. Some people don't want to have kids because they feel like, you know, the world is coming to an end. And those people, I hold a little bit of extra. I hold extra space for y'all. I hold extra space for people that really truly feel pessimistic about where the world is going, because I feel like the greater powers that be is ecstatic about people losing faith in humanity, and they love the fact that it's almost like helping. It's like expediting what they wanted anyway. So where you're softening the blow, you already don't think the future is going well. So when we do our little diabolical plan, which will not work because God always wins.
Big man
It's gonna
upstairs making show.
Facts. It's like, oh, it's gonna be well more received. No, it's not, because there's light, and the light is definitely multiplying incrementally or exponentially.
I love that.
And I want to contribute to the light and bring light to other people, so that way they can see, like, no, the future is actually exciting. The future is lit.
Yeah, big fact.
We have AI.
Here.
Yeah, the future.
Once you wake up, dog. When you wake up and say, like, okay, I got breath in my bones. The sun is out. If it's not out, I'm sorry for you. I feel bad. I'm from Michigan and it's fucking snowstorms right now.
Real shit.
But if you can tap into that shit, man, it is a beautiful place. Like, I also, like, none of us is perfect, dog. I get into my dark spaces.
Yeah.
And it's usually because I'm around that type of energy.
Yeah.
And I'll let it, like, leach in. But then when I remember, it's nothing more than having a sip of tea.
Right.
Chatting with a homie and actually having space held. You know what I'm saying? So
getting into the dark space, even that, and I sometimes it's a good kind of concern, but for how optimistic I am, or how I'm able to, like, rechannel good into, like, every perspective, me and Amy always talk about, like, what comes after, the optimism does breed, like, results, and, like, the manifestation that comes from it. But, like, even being in a dark space, right? When you plant a seed, it's in a dark place.
I already got journals all about this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's like rooted. We rooted, not you know, we're not drowning, we rooted.
Exactly.
We ain't stressed.
Sometimes you need everything to be silenced.
Yeah,
you need everything. You don't, and it's a duality of the light and the darkness too. You know what I mean? There's like, the darkness used to always have this negative connotation to it, but no, there's time and place for everything, and sometimes you need to just isolate and just kind of ground yourself. And what better place to do it than in the dark?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what is some things that you do to re-spark that fire of creativity when you get maybe struck or distracted with other things like work and trying to make it happen, you know? If that's something you deal with, because some people don't lose that.
Oh, absolutely. I can't, like, salute to people that be like, oh, I never have writer's block. Like, every time I have writer's block, in the necessary times. It's funny that I say writer's block come in the most divine time ever. And the writer's block now, because like I said, I have this annoying level of optimism, is when it's time to stop.
Yeah.
And when it's time to go outside and experience life. But I also do that whenever I'm still eager. It's like I will have an eagerness to create, but still have a writer's block. So that's when it's, like, get a little funky where, you know, I want to create, but nothing ain't hitting. I just go and listen to my old catalog. I have stuff in the vault right now that still blows my mind. It blows my mind how I created it. I produced most of my stuff with my brother Mars. But even amongst all the other producers that were in Cyclan or that I engaged with, you know, over time, I'm like, oh yeah, I still disgusting with this pen. You know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, okay.
Nasty.
Yikes. Okay, cool. Bet. Or something I would just have a little listening session with myself. I just kind of click next and just listen to all. I'm like, bro, I wrote that too.
Yeah.
Damn, I wrote that too. Or I would listen to some of my favorite artists. I love to listen to artists that like kind of like shakes me up a little bit. That really make
Top
me.
three?
No, or of all time. Yes, I have two of all time. Damian Marley,
Fire.
Lil Wayne,
Fire.
Yikes, Kanye West.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
We on the same road.
Yeah.
We on the same road.
And just sometimes I want to watch a good interview and just see where their mind is at, you know. And those are just human beings too, and they're flawed. They're beautifully flawed.
I feel like
there's
Kanye
different
West
places.
is my spiritual dad, bro.
Same. I always say that as
Yeah,
dad.
yeah.
I used to call
big
Lil Wayne
pops.
dad, but you know, same thing. I feel like that's pops for sure.
Yeah. Big love to Kanye.
Big love to Kanye. Sending him all love and appreciation, you know, for him just being so raw, and publicly flawed
And weird.
and
Cool.
weird, and just still pushing. You know what I mean? He have this way of just being able to. He would disappear if he have to, but he does reemerge the same necessary rebel. He's a necessary rebel. That's how I would brand
This shit, no
Kanye.
niggas with art. Like, what?
Yep,
Did he do that? Yeah, he did.
facts.
Fire.
So yeah, that's definitely my top three. But right now, like I would say, present day, the people that really kind of put a battery in my back would probably be like a Jesse Reyes, St. John, Don Tolliver, Jid,
Interesting.
070 Shake. So I have a top 5 of now when it comes to like, you like a 070 Shake? Shout out to Annie holding us down with tech.
Thank you, Miss Annie.
I have questions for you at the end.
Okay, cool.
Ask now.
You can ask.
Yeah, so I think you guys complement each other a lot, and this is beautiful. But I think nowadays we also self-critical to ourselves,
Yes.
and we're always like, oh, I should be better with this or that.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk to each other the best part of yourself that you love about yourself.
Okay, for sure. I would like Saint to start first. So what do you love so much
Interesting.
about yourself, bro? Beautiful question from Annie.
It's a good question because, you know, you just say like, logically speaking, the first things that would come to mind is that I embrace my ego.
Yeah.
And it's something that I used to fucking run away from
Yes.
and hide and try to like shun out, which ultimately makes you a yes man.
Yeah. Facts.
Because you're trying to help everybody, and that means like being this person or being that person or being, you know, that person. And so really just fucking accepting how uniquely different and also dopely weird that I am, because my tribe is my tribe. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like I don't have to like change things about me that I do in the dark in front of my friends, because
Right.
first and foremost, everything that I do is pure. I'm a genuine person. Yes, I would love to like provide more, but there's flaws and fears that we have as human beings, and I
Right.
acknowledge mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do love how much and how far I would go for the people that I care about.
That's awesome.
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? Because mostly what I like about myself too is just like my fashion. It's also outer body and like my creativity.
Unfuckwittable.
Unfuckwittable.
Yes.
That's my new word of the year.
No, definitely.
Unfuckwittable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like my I don't want to be super like egoic, but fuck it.
No,
Realistically,
see, but that's
Yeah.
like the old, like, no,
it's
talk
like
your
that
shit.
humbleness, and that's also like shout out to 19 Keys
Yeah.
and his high level community, because it's like us first and foremost, us as melanated men, we're just built different.
Facts.
And it's really important for us to walk with our chest up, chin out, or chest out, chin up, really just like in our power, because us as leaders need to be built in a statured way to where we can actually be impactful to the people who follow us, because people are going to follow us
Yes.
regardless.
And they
I
don't
want-
need to see us head down
Yeah.
and chin top.
We can do that, like, and we can do that in the back, and then we always got like those homies that we can lean on, and like those, because you are who you surround yourself with, right?
Absolutely.
And I make it a priority to be around people that, first and foremost, have what I want and are in places that I've been, because I've not many people have been in places that I've been.
Right.
But the power that I have of like feeding my relationships have kept the right people in my space, and I'm proud of like how fucking hard I go to provide a platform for other beings such as yourself, and also serving. You know what I'm saying? So I want to, in a sense, like honor that, because I know us as achievers, once we achieve something, we jump right to the next thing.
Yeah.
And we don't take those flowers. Like, people gas us all the time. And yes, it's a humbling thing, but at the same time too, when we don't actually like see the outcome that we expect, it doesn't necessarily mean that we didn't receive that. It just was given to us in a different way, and we just weren't looking because we were like already on the next thing.
Right. The scope that's kind of gotta be a little bit more broadened to kind of see the bigger picture of it.
Absolutely.
That's dope, man. I appreciate you sharing that. That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Thanks for asking that question.
It's dope to see somebody embrace their ego, to understand that, you know, if it's positioned the right way, like, it could be powerful. You know what I mean? And I think, just to piggyback before I unpack what I admire about myself, is like talking about the melanated, you know, the power that we have as melanated men. Like, it really conveys a crazy message when you walk in your power.
Absolutely.
Confidently. You know, I guess I don't love the word humble anymore, but even with that being in the message, I take it, the intention behind that message is definitely pure, and I receive that humbling message.
For sure.
But when you walk with such confidence and self-awareness, you send non-verbal message that's received across the room, and people watch, because it's not common enough yet. You could influence more people to show, like, yo, imagine if I'm the one of the 30 people that walk in here with my chest up and knowing exactly who I am and the power I possess, and still come with love, and I have it compartmentalized. But imagine if the remaining 29 people in this room of 30 does that. You know how the vibrations in this room will kind of be otherworldly.
It is otherworldly.
And that's what I tried to do with Artsy and other places. It's just like, yo, like, be your full dope self. You were selected. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We actually took our time to dive in and listen to what your art is, what you represent in your own way of expression. And now you come here, be your full, powerful self. So that's dope. And I appreciate you touching on that, because I did feel the effect when I was, because before I used to, you know, be ashamed.
Yeah.
And I used to try to
kind of
dim
just
my
like
own light.
equally balance out the space of the not mediocre, but like just the day-to-day people who are satisfied with. That's what I'm also learning. Like, there's a lot of people who are satisfied in the norm of things. They're satisfied with what the world or the government or their jobs or surroundings hand them, and some of us just not.
We're not.
It's just not enough. You know
what
I'm
I'm
saying?
struggling with now is understanding, like, being okay with it too. I understand it too.
Yeah.
But I, like, because life is once, this form of life is once, right? You want to walk up to like the zombies, so to speak, or like the, you know, NPCs or whatever you want to call it, and just shake them out and be like, you know, like, when this life done, that's it, right? Like, you just clocked in and you worried about making it to work on time. It's cool, you know what I mean? But like, don't give it that much energy. Care until you get there, but understand they're lucky that you pull up at work. Just like one of many other scenarios where you just want to kind of like, you see them kind of just walk around like we're in a video game, and you just want to tap them on the shoulder to be like, yo, life, don't forget to do it. And I have to do it to myself too. I have to do it to myself, because sometimes I just get caught up in a rat race
of working,
things.
Creating.
But with the whole thing about like what do I admire about myself, right? I love my brain, and it's funny because I know that we are a little bit under the energy. We're up. This is supposed to be a bit more lighthearted, but just to kind of get a little deep for a moment, I had a heart-to-heart with Amy, and I broke down recently. Because I have ADHD. I have a crazy level of ADHD. I have, and I just get frustrated about being forgetful of small little things, like minute details when it comes to like leaving my key in the elevator or just time related stuff. And I was speaking to Amy, who just balances my entire life, and I wouldn't be nowhere close to where I'm at if it wasn't for her to just kind of detect, just a little area, a little kink in the machine and help me kind of put it back into place because she
Yeah.
believes in me and believes in the bigger picture. But I just told her I hate my brain. I say I hate
Well, the more you
my
say
brain.
that, the more you're gonna hate it, big dog.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't want you to say that anymore. And it's like, it wasn't I hated my, I was just frustrated. And I was just so fed up of those, about, and you could kind of unpack all the situations where ADHD has definitely like impacted my days. But I don't hate my brain.
Yeah.
I actually love my brain. And I found out Kanye has ADHD. Kendrick Lamar has ADHD. And a few other people. And I take one of my friends named Pryor. And I spoke about this previously.
Do they talk about this? Not to cut you, bro. Do they
No,
talk
go
about
ahead.
this in your country and your culture?
No, I didn't know.
And that's why I
Okay.
want to like kind of like give you that, but at the same time, that's just a label to stop great people from being great.
Yeah.
And realistically, all we need to do is slow down.
Yeah.
All we need to do is slow down and be a little bit more strategic with our schedule.
Yeah.
Time blocking, having a manager to do that thing for you if your body focuses more on creating. It's
Creating.
not ADHD, bro. That's a lie to keep great people being less than.
Right.
You
And
know
it
what I'm saying?
definitely is a declutter.
Yeah.
And the declutter it definitely comes from the conversing that, I have with her. And
Yeah.
it definitely helps because when it is decluttered and the ideas that come, I still kind of get out of body experience when I come out with a new idea. And sometimes it's an idea that takes a budget
Yeah.
that I'll have to put, in the vault. So that's probably the thing that I like most about myself is like, just my smile, my charm. I love, all the skills. I love I know it's not about me, but I love my tribe.
Oh, that's all
Like,
about you. You create your tribe.
Yeah, I'm grateful of like for the people that I was, because I know people that haven't experienced building a phenomenal, extensive tribe where they just like to talk about like, oh, my circle's small. Like, I get it, and I have so much love to people that have no choice but to keep their circle small because they have to take their time to build a tribe, and I haven't encountered so many beautiful souls. I can't say my circle crazy small, but maybe it is when it comes to like it's different tiers to the access that you have for me now, and that's helped me.
What did you say, Jay-Z? Less is more, nigga.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank
This
you.
is funny, and it's not funny, but about the brain, because I can talk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so every time that I feel like my brain is like controlling me and I freak out because like it's giving me like something that maybe it's not true, I try to trick it and kind of imagine my brain like and make it fun.
Yeah.
Like, like the Harry Potter scene when from the closet there's all the fears coming and you have to play with it. And
Ah.
for example,
Play with your fears.
yeah, play with your fears. If
Ah.
it's a scary dude, you just put it on the ice skate and it's gonna just collapse.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
all
Face
of
that
this
shit
stuff,
forward.
Just,
Yeah.
like, play with your brain and then you see it's like.
Like, it's almost like you're
start to
regaining
be-
control.
start to be like,
Yeah, it's like,
Like-
oh, this is my life. Like, I choose the course of where it's going.
Absolutely.
I love
so,
that.
Like it's I love that too, baby. Thank you. It's like we get caught up so much doing this thing called stress because it is what we were programmed to do.
Yeah.
But in the moments of activity, going on walks, in the moments of going to the gym, where you are fully invested into you in that moment, is when all of that shit goes away. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, well, now today's a great day.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, a little hiccup in the vortex can happen. You know what I'm saying? Or contrast in the field of humans can happen. And then we fall back into that hole. And I've realized in my journey, bro, because I'm also very much one who would have labeled myself in the past to have ADHD. Well, we're creative people. We're left-brained people. And so in that, it's just especially with technology, bro, we're unpacking so much shit in so little time that the worst thing you could do is not make it a game. The worst thing you can do is not make it a game, because life is lifing. And if we were to turn it off today, what's left? You know what I'm saying? And if we also could control the outcome of every single day, the moment that we say, I don't want to control it anymore, surprise me, we would be exactly where we are now. So once you realize that you are in the ball, or you're in the unplugged atmosphere of this thing called life, but you know that you're in the game, you can get a little bit more creative.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah, it's literally a secret. Like, yeah, bro. So like, honestly, it's just like, this shit is really all just a game, and we got to be a little bit more silly.
Yeah, and I'm having a lot of fun with the entire thing. Like I don't take things too serious anymore, things to heart. Like, you know, from the music, it's translating a lot to the music. And it was very important for a long time, because you know how goofy I am. Like, I feel like I appreciate, I don't think I did a good enough job in being able to tell, like, people that my extended family out there in the ethos, like, yo, I'm a goofball. And when we did the Spotless campaign, it was so fulfilling beyond what my team probably felt. Oh, it was like a dope song, but like just doing like the character Mr. Spotless, and I tried, you know, like, transition into this next song that I'm about to drop called Oomph. Yep, that's my single.
Leaked.
It's called Oomph.
It's leaked by the man himself.
Sheesh. Yeah, so the next single is called Oomph, and it's more R&B driven, but it's still fun, bro.
Yeah.
And like with life, with the campaigns, with, you know, with the events we're doing, and just the interactions, this was fun. Like, it's important
Thank
to
you
just
for being
enjoy.
here.
Of course, it was a pleasure, bro. Like, I'll do this all the time. Like, Black Sheep Tea,
You got it.
it's
So
up.
thank you for joining us, brother.
Thank you. I
This was
appreciate
a
it.
fire episode
Yes.
with Roku at Black Sheep Tea House.
Yes, sir.
Do me a favor, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. And if you want to be on the next podcast, reach out to us. But most importantly, where can they find you, bro?
Find me at ROKEAUX. That's Roku on all streaming platforms, as well as, you know, all social media handles from X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that jazz.
All the things.
All the things. And like, on top of that, like, you know, I know you're gonna be there's some amazing minds that I would love to suggest to come to
That'd be
on
fun.
the platform, inclling maybe Timar,
Email to
Halo
Amy.
Kitch. Definitely have Amy.
Annie.
You know, handle.
Annie.
Annie, sorry, Annie. The tech. Shout out, I'm mixing up Annie and Amy. All these A words.